It is time for our monthly Master Board Open session. Here is your board president, Bob Walter.
Executive General Manager's report.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's board meeting. We're going to get my PowerPoint presentation up. We also have a guest that Jason's making sure that we have in the queue. Okay, first off, go ahead and go to page 3, Jay. Election update. There we go. Meet the Candidates Forum will be held on March 6th at 4 p.m. here in the ballroom. And also a reminder, the ballots will be mailed for the annual election for the Master Association on March 8th. Age verification time, again, we talked about it at the last meeting. Forms will be in the March Lifestyles magazine, as well as the Recreation Front Desk and the Admin Office and on the website. We're asking that you please return those forms in by the end of June. We will be working with the district delegates to assist us in this data collection process. The December management report has been released and the January report will be issued soon. These can be found online. Food and beverage hours can be found on the website. We also have signage that was created and placed at the clubhouses to update members. Also, there's an A-frame outside the sandwich so that members can see the times for the sandwich. We also have a new menu. Well, right there are the menus. Thank you, Jay. He's getting ahead. I do want to note that the lounge will close Sundays at 3 p.m. So this is the schedule before that. Sundays, 3 p.m., the lounge will close. This begins this Sunday, March 3rd. Also, there will be a new menu that is issued out for the public to see on March 5th. Simple, with double-sided dinner, lunch, breakfast items will be served during lunchtime during the week, so members can see that. That will also be online and will be, of course, at the restaurant. Speaking about food and beverage, let's go to the next one, Jason. The St. Patrick's Day buffet. Space is always limited. This will occur on Saturday, March 16th. Doors open at 5 p.m. Seating will be here in the ballroom. Tickets are on sale right now at the hostess stand for $29.95. Also, when you are purchasing your tickets, you will have the opportunity to choose your seating. This is something that's worked very well with our recreation department. In their events, they've had assigned seating at the time of the ticket purchase. That's one thing that we have evaluated, and we're going to use that for our food and beverage events as well. So make sure when you go to the hostess stand, you buy your ticket, that you select your seats. And then finally, on my next item, an investment update. And for today's meeting, we have Carla Chung, who is the Senior Vice President with First Service Financial, and she'll be providing us a quick update, if we can get her through Zoom. Hernan, this is when we play the Jeopardy music. That's it. This is where Alec Trebek would say, "Time's up." Well, Jason, while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and read your executive session updates while Jason is working with technology. We'll get that update to you very quickly. So, the February report on executive session actions. This report will give the community an update on actions that were taken by the board at the executive session meetings on February 14th and February 28th, at which time litigation, member discipline, formation of contracts, and personal matters were discussed. Member matters. The board reviewed 2 member requests for fee waiver. The board approved the food and beverage and golf receivables as of January 31st, as well as the assessment accounts receivables as of January 31st, 2024. The board approved the delinquency report. The board reviewed 3 show cause hearings. The board reviewed 3 appeals of MAC, Master Architectural Committee decisions. The board approved an EPAP expenditure of $527.96 for equipment. The board reviewed a request for a parking variance. The board reviewed a request from a member. The board met with a member on raffles and 50/50s for the clubs and groups. The board reviewed a number of letters from members. The board reviewed another master architectural decision, and the board met with members of the OPA team and the Procurement Advisory Committee. Legal, the board approved the executive session minutes from January 24th, 2024, and actually July 12th, 2023. Those board minutes hadn't been approved. The board received a number of updates from legal counsel. The board approved the investment transaction report. The board approved to send the following account to the collections attorney to foreclose on the lien and record the notice of default on the following APN numbers: 440-270-0233, 419-320-053, 440-141-031, 440-270-023. Under third-party contracts, the board received updates from the management company on several items. The board met with their insurance broker. The board received and filed the investment activity report. The board received and filed the project activity report. The board had a discussion on food and beverage operations. The board discussed investments. The board reviewed and approved the December and January narrative and analytic reports from Securitas, Community Patrol. Both the narrative and analytic reports will be posted to the website. The board approved the repair of the drainage on the championship course, hole number 15, with RP Ruiz Construction. The board approved reclassifying $6,235.77 from operating to the repair and replacement fund for golf course maintenance equipment. The board met and received updates from Jorge Perez from Bing Design and architect Paul Collins regarding the lounge expansion. The board approved the kitchen flooring to be repaired by SoCal Coating and Restoration. As a reminder, the kitchen will be closed Monday, March 18th through Saturday morning, the 23rd. On that Saturday at 11 a.m., the Sandwich will reopen. That concludes the executive session action reports. And do we have an update? Okay, perfect. So we're going to switch it over to Carla Chum. Lee, hit the music again. No pressure, Jay. Sorry, Carla, we got it done a little faster, so we are ready to begin with your update on investments for Sun Lakes. Jason, can we hear her? Okay. 1 second, Carla. Today was a beautiful day outside. The average temperature was 65 degrees. Bob, how was your golf game?
I can't golf. I'm on the board.
Actually, what we'll do, we're going to, due to technical difficulties, we may have to reschedule this for the next open session. Carl, I'm sorry, the microphone's not connecting with our sound system. Oh, that would delete the PowerPoint presentation, though. I am going to go to the next one. So let's move on to, we have, oh, I'm sorry, Bob, it's back to you with the sub-associations. Any sub-association updates? Doug Swinson?
Sub-association update. Do we have a sub-association here to give us an update? Doug. Many hats.
Just a brief update from the villas. On April 10th, we are going to have a dinner, and we're having an auction. We've had this a couple, 3 times in the past. We didn't have one last year because of other reasons, many reasons. But anyway, we're asking our members in District 10, Fairway Villas, to give their donations. We have a great time, and they may have a good time, but I'll tell you, I'm the auctioneer, and I have far more fun than they do. So please pay attention, villas, and get your stuff to Melinda. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Delegate Assembly.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, board, administration, and members. Thank you for being here. My name is Dolores Doherty. I am the district delegate for District 4 and the vice chair of the Delegate Assembly. And I just wanted to let you all know that we are looking forward to the upcoming candidate forum coming up, as Chris mentioned, Wednesday, March 6th at 4 o'clock here in the ballroom. We have a great team of the panel of delegates that are going to be going through the questions, and it will be chaired by Ann Hofert, who is sitting right over here. So I hope that you all make it a point to come out here, because this is a good opportunity for you if you have questions that you want to ask, because those questions are submitted to the panel of delegates that are going to be going through all of them to make sure that they are able to be answered by any one of the 5 candidates. And if you're not able to come, you can also watch on Channel 97, and it's good to be informed and know who's running and what they are going to do for our community. I believe that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think Carla may be ready to roll. I don't know. While we're waiting for that, we're going to do the pass action report. It's not.
Can you guys hear her?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Check, check.
Testing, testing.
There we go.
Hopefully you can hear me again. I'm
Yes.
just going to keep talking, great, until
You're
I'll
good.
otherwise see something that tells me to stop in the chat. So we have been working for Service Financial along with Morgan Stanley as part of Sun Lake's investment consultants for a couple of years now. And as just a recap of investments thus far, interest received for 2022 was $72,119, and in 2023 was $224,470. These amounts exclude the accretion from those investments that were purchased at a discount that have not matured yet. So it's a little bit deceiving in terms of, the true accrued basis versus a cash basis, depending on how you look at your books. For 2023, that accretion is estimated to be about another $109,000. Investments outstanding purchased prior to 2022 that are yielding lower rates by today's standards, but need to be held to maturity to avoid losses on any principal. And that is because preservation of capital is the primary requirement per your investment policy. And in any case, any losses that would occur from the sales of those investments would not be recouped upon reinvestment again, because you'd be selling something at a lower base than what you think you would be earning on it. The association, though, will have an increase in interest for 2024 as the maturing investments are reinvested at higher yields, and further accretion from those prior discounted investments is received. And finally, as evidenced by the inverse yield curve, the market is forecasting the Fed decreasing rates, and so for that reason, we are suggesting to all clients locking in some longer-term rates if there is flexibility to do so. Certainly, the Morgan Stanley economists are all forecasting a 75 basis point decrease by the end of the year. But you know, again, nobody knows what the timing is. But again, we suggest continuing just a laddered strategy in the portfolio for diversification and to maintain that neutral interest rate strategy. So that is the recap, and my understanding is if there are any questions, you guys will email those in and we can answer them at a future meeting.
Correct. Thank you, Carla. So message to management as a
Thanks
reminder.
for the time again, and speak to you soon.
So message to
Bye.
management through the front desk at the reception desk or through email to ask any questions. And as Carla said, we will work to get those answers to you. And that completes that report. Finally, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you, Carla. Oh, she's gone now. Past action report?
I'm going to go ahead and give that today, Bob. The hearing is set for, is it working? Okay, didn't sound like it was. Can't hear my own voice. The hearing is set for March 13th, which is 2 weeks from today at 1:30 in Riverside. We had originally scheduled the town hall when we thought we were going to be having a determination at the end of January. We had set one for Sunday, March 3rd, which has been canceled. I put a reminder out on Facebook yesterday. So we will be having a town hall on April 7th at 4 o'clock here in the ballroom. And one last thing, our recycle program, which is actually Dory Gartsky's recycle program, and she gives us the benefits of it. I would like to say thank you to Dory again, and I have on my possession an anonymous gift to help her with gas for going to the recycling center.
Thank you, Dory. Thank you. Next is City of Banning. Doesn't appear to be present at the time. We'll go to marketing. Marketing Committee has a presentation.
Good afternoon, Master Board, FSR, and residents. The Master Board has asked the Marketing Advisory Committee to update our website for potential home buyers. So we've come up with a virtual brochure for the website, which I am presenting to you today. We asked several of the clubs and groups to submit pictures for use of our home brochure. So if your club or group would like to be included, please submit your pictures to Jerry Blodgett, and I'm going to give you his email address. It is jb@jblodgett.com, or you can email them to me if it's easier. Just remember, if we use your pictures, we must have your members sign a photo release waiver. So these are going to be going on the website so that other people, potential homeowners, will be able to see what we have here to offer at Sun Lakes. So, Jason, let's go ahead and start. So the first one is, for some, it's the lifestyle. For others, it's the people. 55 active adult country club. So we're going to get away from being the retirement community. We are actually a 55 plus active adult country club. The next one is table of contents. Next one is paradise redefined. And there's some other verbiage on there. I know you can't see it, but this will be going on the website pretty soon. And I have to tell you, Jerry Blodgett did an amazing job. The next one is Country Club Dreams are a Sun Lakes reality. We also have resort living. It addresses all of our amenities. We have the 18-hole championship golf course. We also have the 18-hole executive golf course. We're very lucky here that we have 2 golf courses that we can all enjoy. Unlimited things, oh, excuse me, that's right, I'm sorry, go back. We took a quote from one of the pros, Dave Stockton. The next one is unlimited things to do, fun places to explore, year-round things to do, and we have a map and area attractions. The next one is home designs. So we have pictures of our homes and a couple of the designs in there. We also have condos and villas. We have entertainment. We also have dining, clubs, organizations, and groups, events, social and volunteering opportunities, TV station and publications, racket sports, travel, support groups, affinity groups, games, quotes from residents of Sun Lakes, health and wellness facility, RV storage, realtors, and our 3 clubhouses. So, as you can see, some of those pictures were not our Sun Lakes residents. So we really would like people to be sending us pictures of your clubs, of your groups, even card clubs, so that we can put and have our own people on this. We do need that authorization, the photo release waiver. So this is, we haven't quite completed the entire thing yet because we'd like to get some of those other pictures in there. As soon as we have this completely finished, we will submit it to the master board for their approval, and this will go on our website and this will be updated. So we're really excited about having this so that when potential home buyers get on our website, they're going to be able to scroll through this. There was another community called, I believe, Citrus Hill, and they have an amazing photo shoot of all of their amenities. We're trying to mimic that, but I think we have a way nicer community here. So thank you, Master Board. That's the presentation.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to that. We want to have some more sales so we can get that replenishment fees. Next we have is the OPA Project. Another presentation, not a 3-minute one though, but it's a good presentation.
No, it'll be 3.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Michelle.
Good afternoon, Master Board, Administration, and fellow members of Sun Lakes. Probably you all know my name is Bob Hicks, and I'm a member of the Organizational Policy and Process Assessment Task Force that was developed to assist the Sequoia Grove Consulting Company to develop governing policy for Sun Lakes. Many people are quite surprised to understand that there is no governing policy, and to just kind of prove the point, one of the things we did at the outset was we had First Services go through the database to see if they could find any, and they basically found 4 different policies, but one of which was investment policy. And so, there's a reason for this that kind of stupefies a lot of people. But it goes back to the developer of Sun Lakes or any HOA essentially is required to put together CCNRs and bylaws as part and parcel of being a closed community, a planned unit community. But the developer doesn't need policies and procedures because they're a corporation. They have them already. So what happens is when the community sells out, the directorship transfers from being controlled by the developer over to volunteer members from the community. So what this means is they're left with nothing but the CCNRs and bylaws, which in there's very little about how to actually make decisions in an orderly fashion. In other words, how to govern Sun Lakes. That all disappeared with the expertise that was there because they were on the board of directors of the developers. So I just happened to reflect back on this, and the home that I moved into in 2020 was one of the last 6 that were actually built here in Sun Lakes, and it was built in 2004. So essentially there's been 20 years of the boards, as every year as we get new members, making decisions about what they thought was the right way to do things in the absence of an overarching guide and policy as to how they should be done. So that's what this board has decided to undertake. And so, fundamentally our purpose as the task force is not to write the policy. Our purpose is to simply provide the research local on-site to support Sequoia Grove Consulting in order to make sure that this process was done as fast as possible, as rapidly as possible, and was kept economic and kept the project within budget. So what I'd like to do now is give you a brief update on the status. We completed the analysis of all FSR executive and director level job descriptions. They were used to assess how well the existing board members felt they actually reflected the needs of Sun Lakes. There's a generic job description, but then there's how should that job be conducted for Sun Lakes. And there is discrepancy sometimes, not intentional, but that was the purpose of that process. That information was collected and forwarded on to Sequoia Grove. The research phase of the project actually concluded on January 19th. The information assembled was all existing policies that surfaced from a search of the databases, interviews with the major standing committees, the sub-associations, and various master board, and all master board of director members. We also had meetings with all the chartered committees, and we took the charters and any other governing or handbook information they had and forwarded that. It's all been posted on a cloud database called Dropbox. And part of the purpose was to make it efficient to be able to communicate back and forth. But the other part was to start to create a permanent archive where information like this is stored on a database that will be controlled and owned by Sun Lakes specifically. In January the 5th, Sequoia Grove submitted a master governing policy index document, which essentially was an outline listing all of the policies that she would address and develop. That was presented to the master board to review and discuss, and on a Zoom call on Valentine's Day, some minor adjustments were made to that, and on 2/25, Sequoia Grove presented the schedule to the master board for the completion of the project. A draft of the governing policies is expected to be ready for submission to the master board early part of March, probably March 6th at the latest, thereby giving them a week for the next executive session to have a conference call, a Zoom call, where the board will make comments on what they received and give any final requests for adjustments or issues to then conclude the process. That will conclude the first 2 phases of the project, fixed price phases. The third fixed price phase that will come in late March, early April, will be an implementation plan. that is a recommendation from the consultant of what needs to happen to see that all this governing policy is effectively implemented. Pardon me. I picked up allergies starting yesterday. Pardon me. Phase 4 of the project, if there is a phase 4, will be essentially any implementation support that the board feels it may require from Sequoia Grove Consulting. It is an optional phase that's there for the benefit of the board to know that Ms. Conlon is ready and willing to come back and assist them with the implementation should the board deem that appropriate. And finally, it's anticipated that with the decision of the scope phase 4 will be made by the newly elected board. It will not be made prior to that. So they will be able to determine what, if any, additional support they might need in order to see that this is actually implemented. We expect that won't happen until probably somewhere in the time frame of late April to early May. Bottom line is governing policy is a precision system. It's a way to do things that can, when it's properly executed, promise to bring great benefits to not only the existing board members, but the overall effectiveness of them being able to deploy their fiduciary responsibility. And so it's there not for this board, but it is there because this board had the wisdom to know that eventually we need to do something like this, and they chose to take it on for the benefit of our community long term. On March the 5th, we've been invited to participate in the community awareness program, which will give us considerably more time to go over what has actually been going on in the details, and it will conclude with an open question and answer session. So we welcome you to see us there if you have further questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is bingo.
Good afternoon to the board and to management and residents. I'm Tony Sudam, co-chairman of the Bingo Advisory Committee. And just a few updates. We are always dark on Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month. This month we had 3 sessions of bingo. All the sessions are very well attended. We are supported by the Restaurant and Lounge Committee, the Restaurant and Lounge staff with food and beverages, and everyone enjoys this service. We are open on Tuesdays at 4:30. Games begin at 6 p.m. We play 15 games each night, and players can play for as little as $7 per evening. The next session of bingo will be open on March the 12th. We encourage our residents to come and enjoy the evening of bingo here in the ballroom. Normally, our evening is over by 8:45 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Next is Common Area Advisory Committee. Doug?
I didn't introduce myself before. I'm Doug Swenson, in case you don't know who I'm at. Common Area, on a continuous basis, the pools that we have here in Sun Lakes have to have a lot of work done to them. So we've done a lot of work over the winter on the outdoor pools. And as soon as May 1st rolls around, when they are open, we will be doing a lot of work on the indoor pool at the South Clubhouse. So if you use the pools on a regular basis, make sure you check for that to make sure everything is going well. As everybody knows, spring is almost here. Sometimes it's here and sometimes it's not. But you're going to find that the turf in your yard and on the streets and any place else is going to really start to pop. And I just want to let you know that the people here in Sun Lakes take care of it on a regular basis. They have a schedule for what they have to do and when they do it. And if you see something that's a problem, try to go out onto the website if you can, see if you can find out the schedule to see if, in fact, when that might be done, as opposed to going down the street from door to door complaining that your area isn't being taken care of, at least in the common area. I'm sure your individual homes, you take care of them meticulously, but sometimes it's a little bit longer on the common area because we've got a lot of territory. Thank you.
Thank you. EPAP?
Good afternoon, Board, FSR, and residents. This was a busy month for us. On February 15th, Clark Botha, the pharmacist from Loma Linda Highland Springs, came to Sun Lakes and spoke to us about how to stockpile medications so you'll be prepared for an emergency. On February 17th, we held our first Emergency Operations Center open house. It was attended by 45 to 50 people. We had informational handouts, radio demonstrations, emergency medical kits, and emergency bins. The residents had the opportunity to visit what goes into these kits and bins. The medical kits and bins are kept in each of the districts and in the condos. We also had a few people that expressed interest in volunteering. Raylene Kretschmann came to our open house and identified that she and some of the people from Community Awareness had had dinner with the Banning Fire Department, and they asked them what we could do to help them, and they asked if we could have our residents put a written copy of their advance directives with their file of life. Also, if you have not updated your file of life, especially the medications, now would be a good time to do that. And last, Dick Heitman, our communications director, has decided to step down from his position. He will, however, stay on as a volunteer for EPAP. And thank you, Board, for approving our request for supplies.
Thank you. Next is Finance Committee.
Good afternoon, Master Board, Management Team, and fellow residents. My name is Mary Jo McElwain, and I'm Chairman of the Finance Advisory Committee. I'd like to explain to you some of the terms that are used when we talk about money that's needed to maintain our community. First of all, amenities. That seemed to be a term that was floating around a while back. It's a term that means all the features that come with your property here at Sun Lakes. For example, the clubhouses, pools, golf courses, restaurant security, you name it, we have it, and so many more. These are all amenities or extras and why we pay $365 a month. And they're what makes your property more valuable, no doubt. We really do get a lot for our monthly HOA fees. The next item is capital fund. That's much talked about lately. This fund was established in 2003 to offset the expense of constructing improvements to the community. As of the January report, this fund has $1,748,000 in it. Now, there is a project in the works which will be using funding from this account, the lounge expansion, and it is estimated that we will be using $550,000, I'm not sure if that figure is correct, it's an estimate, will be used from the capital fund for this project. Just to be clear, your HOA fees will not be affected by using this fund. Reserve fund, that's another one. This fund is for the repair and replacement of the amenities in our community. As of the January report, there's $12,298,000 in this account. And each month, we all contribute a portion of our fees to replenish this account as we are constantly fixing or replacing things because of aging or breakage. There is also a special report that is used as a guideline for these expenses, and it's called the Reserve Study. Last but not least is the operating account. Basically, all your money from your HOA fees are deposited into this account, and checks are written for monthly expenses. I'm not sure how many accounts we have in our general ledger, but our community has many departments, and we have complicated and intertwined financial statements which take time to understand and review. That's why the board authorizes the Finance Advisory Committee to give them the advice and recommendations so they can make sound business decisions. From our regular meeting last week, we had several questions which have been sent to the board and management. Just a few of them are, we requested a business plan for the food, whoops. Thank you. Come to our meeting, March 20th at 2 p.m. We're looking for new volunteers, please, especially a secretary.
Thank you very much. And the board definitely appreciates the expertise from the Financial Advisory Committee. Thank you, Mary Jo. Mike?
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Callahan, Chairman of the Golf Advisory Committee. The GAC would like to remind golfers that course closures are made when it is determined that the turf is at a significant risk of damage. Another consideration is safety, including the risk of mature trees falling when the soil is saturated, or slip and fall risk that both pose a potential liability for the HOA. Keep in mind, the length of closure is often dictated by a handful of golf holes that are part of the natural water runoff through the community. In February, the courses were closed for nearly half the month, much to the dismay of golfers and their non-golfing spouses. Early in the month, the course received over 10 inches of rain that was very welcomed by the golf maintenance. This amount of rain was effective in leaching the buildup of bicarbonate that will be greatly beneficial to the turf this year. Just a reminder to residents, because of the large amount of rain, the irrigation system was used to lower the lake levels and avoid damage to the liner. The GAC would also like to thank Mark Birchfield and the Master Board. Mark recently attended a golf course superintendent's meeting where he was able to secure a new rough mower that suddenly became available from John Deere, and that usually takes 1 to 2 years for delivery after ordering. He was also able to negotiate a deal on much-needed grinders and reels from a local distributor, saving the community over $65,000. So thank you to the Master Board for their quick action in approving the purchase of this equipment according to the scheduled reserves and at a great cost saving to the community.
Thank you. Library? Peter?
Good afternoon. My name is Peter Fernandez. I'm the chair for the Library Committee for this year. Just a couple things, a reminder, this Saturday is the Arts and Crafts sale here in the ballroom, and also the book sale, which will actually have a couple tables in here and then 4 tables in the library. Book sale brings money back into the library to offset some of our costs, and we can also purchase additional books and puzzles and so on. There's also been a request again for books on tape, so probably going to put something out in the next month's magazine to see if that interest is still there for books on tape. I don't think anybody wants to use cassettes anymore, so. Also, a couple things. We are in need of additional volunteers, so if any of you would like to do that, or you know somebody who would, you can email me or John Hersha, where our names and phone numbers and email are in the magazine. And then also on donations for this year, we're getting a lot of donations, but we've decided that for donations, we will come and pick them up if necessary, so the person doesn't have, we did that yesterday in Breckenridge. The lady didn't really have the opportunity or the ability to take the books to the library, so we went over and picked them up. So if you know of anybody, just let us know. Thank you.
Thank you. Lifestyles, Linda?
Hello, I'm Linda Vieira from the Lifestyles Advisory Committee. Here again is our wonderful Lifestyles magazine for March. This issue features a beautiful cover photo by Dix Henneke, who has contributed many photos, and they're always really gorgeous. And this one features Canadian geese and snow-covered mountains. This slick little magazine is the resource most Sun Lakers use to plan the events of their days, weeks, and even months. It tells you what's going on in our advisory committees, clubs, and groups, what's happening in the lounge and restaurant, the recreation department's plans for the golf course, delegate assembly, and master board. It gives you contact information for almost everything going on, available in or coming up in Sun Lakes. It's what most of us turn to in order to find out what's going on in our community, including articles from the master board, delegate assembly, first service, the restaurant, the golf pro, and all advisory committees. Clubs and groups send articles and photos to sunlakesnews@yahoo.com by the 6th of each month. The Lifestyles Advisory Committee meets on the 7th of each month, unless that date falls on a weekend or holiday, to review and edit the articles submitted for each month's issue of the magazine. To keep updated about events coming up in our community, we meet with our Master Board liaison, Lori Hazelton, the Assistant General Manager, Jason Ewalls, and Linda Vang of the Recreation Department. We publish want ads and for sale items from residents at no cost and hide a monthly joke for readers to find. We include paid ads from vendors who have served our residents well. We also publish Friends We Will Miss, a special Did You Know section, and messages of gratitude for residents. Responses to our Get the Joke contest are put in a hat and a winner is randomly drawn, earning a restaurant gift card as a prize. Photographs taken by residents of areas within Sun Lakes are used on the magazine cover. If you're good at editing and proofreading and are interested in joining us, please fill out a volunteer application form that you can get in the lobby. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, marketing.
I didn't know that I could have made my presentation earlier. Michelle Walter, Marketing Chairperson. We had our last meeting yesterday, February 27th. Let's see, I already did your updating on that. We also updated the website pictures, so when you log on, you'll have some brand new pictures up there. And we are going to update them quarterly. You can also view the homes for sale on our website. You don't even have to log in. It's under community information. Also, Jerry Blodgett is working on the coupon book for new homeowners, and it's just about completed, and so we'll be able to recommend this to the Master Board for approval. Our second focus group is working on the marketing the lounge expansion, features, advantages, and benefits, also known as FEB. We are also working very closely with Marcia Midget and the Restaurant and Lounge Advisory Committee to help them market new ideas for the Sandwich Bar and Grill while the lounge expansion is under construction. We've also come up with a new giveaway for our homeowners for the Welcome Home. It is this accordion folder with information on clubs, groups. It has a license plate frame, magnetic emergency numbers, emergency whistles, postcards, we have moved, and a beautiful picture of Sun Lakes. Our next Welcome Home is on April 25th at 5 p.m. in the ballroom. The following are the stats on the home sales of Sun Lakes from February 1st to February 27th. Active or coming soon as of February 27th, 25 homes and 2 condos. Prices from $289 to $649. In escrow as of the 27th, 14 homes and 2 condos. Prices from $279 to $265. Closed escrows as of the 27th, 5 homes. Prices from $345 to $600. Average price $410, $600. 3 condo prices from $280 to $330, average price $311, $666. We have been meeting the second Tuesday and fourth Tuesday of every month since we have so much to accomplish. However, we're going to take a break, and our next meeting won't be until March 26th at 2:30 in administration. So if anybody would like to come and sit in on our meetings, you're more than welcome to come in. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the Master Architectural.
Good afternoon, Master Board and residents of Sun Lakes. If any of you residents are starting to have trouble finding a painter, it is probably our fault, ours and the Planning and Compliance Commission. During the COVID years of 2019 to 2022, we were not requiring people to paint their homes for all the reasons that the state set forth with the COVID. So we're playing catch up. We're going section by section. And so far this year, by that I mean January and February of this year, we've had 121 applications for painting. Of those, we have approved all but 21. We have a paint pamphlet that has over 140 colors in it for people to use. 21 people decided that they liked their colors better than those colors listed in Sun Lake's pamphlet. We are not approving any non-compliant colors. So if you put in an application and it's not a color on the Sun Lake's pamphlet, the Master Architectural Committee is not going to approve your application. And so far, the Master Board has also seen fit not to approve any non-compliant colors. My suggestion to you is if you want to paint your house, drive around the neighborhood, find one that you say, boy, I can't live without those colors. Write down the address, contact Edgar at Planning and Compliance and say, this house has this colors, what are the paint colors? And he'll tell you. And then you've got, most likely, conforming paint colors. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Procurement Advisory Committee.
Good afternoon, Master Board, FSR, and my fellow residents. My name is Raylene Kretschmann, and I'm a member of the Procurement Advisory Committee, or PAC, and I'd like to update you on the recent projects of PAC. In the month of January, FSR sent out the RFPs for the lounge expansion project to 8 qualified companies. Of the 8, only 3 companies replied. On February 15th, FSR submitted to the PAC for their review the 3 RFP responses. On February 23rd, PAC completed its review of the RFPs and submitted the proposal review report to both FSR and the Master Board. During this review, PAC identified several items from the RFPs that they believed warranted further analysis. PAC made a recommendation to the Master Board that further clarification from the vendors was needed before reaching a final decision. The janitorial agreement procurement process, initially scheduled for this quarter, has been delayed due to increased demand on the FSR staff. While the board seeks to enhance service levels with the current company, there are no significant issues at this time that must be addressed, aside from the need to just explore alternative options through an RFP process. Anticipating a busy workload post-election season, each procurement cycle significantly impacts the workload of the GM department heads and the board. The PAC's primary purpose is to support their efforts in following prescribed processes to obtain agreements that represent the best possible value for Sun Lakes. The PAC currently has a vacant position, so if you want this challenge, or if you find this challenge a challenge of interest, please reach out to us or visit the Sun Lakes website to review the PAC handbook for a complete understanding of the role. You're invited to join our monthly meetings if you're interested or feel this is an opportunity that you feel that you can contribute to the community. Our meetings take place on the 3rd Monday of each month at 9 a.m. in the administrative conference room. Thank you for your attention, and please don't hesitate to reach out to any of the PAC members should you have any questions or concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Recreation.
Greetings all. I am Gloria Pena. I'm the chair of the Recreation Advisory Committee. We meet on the first Wednesday of the month at 2 o'clock in the multipurpose room, and anyone who would like to come and attend, you're welcome. I have for our recreation upcoming events, March 2nd, our annual spring craft fair from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the ballroom. We have 60 vendors participating. That means our residents and or crafters that are sponsored by a resident. On March 14th, we have a blood drive from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. in the multipurpose room. You can get a flyer that's available to you in the lobby, and you can make an appointment by scanning the QR code or from the link, and they will also accept walk-ins. March 15th, Motown concert with Corny Mims and the Know-It-Alls. The show time is at 6:30, $15 per person in the ballroom. It will be theater seating. The tickets can be purchased at our front desk with our receptionist, and there are 4 per household that can be purchased. On April 18th, we have our annual health fair from 11 to 2 in the ballroom. It is a free event. We will have health screenings. We will also have information about life insurance, hospice, and many health-related vendors will be there. We will be having gift baskets. You'll be given a raffle ticket as you enter. And this event is organized by Jennifer Partridge, and we give her a lot of kudos for that. On April 20th, we have Comedy Night with Jason Love. The doors open at 6 p.m., showtime at 7 p.m. It is $15 per person, and it will be a first-come, first-serve event. The table seating is limited to 210 with 6 seats per table. For more information, you can get that from our front desk receptionist. On May 4th, 11th, and 18th is our spring garage sale from 8 to 1 p.m. You can find flyers for your district's date of sale, and the flyers are in our flyer rack in the lobby. On May 24th, we have our Community Shredding Day from 9 to 12, $5 per box, the banker box size only, cash only, and it is on a first-come, first-served basis. A flyer is also available in the foyer. All information is available to you in our wonderful lifestyle magazine and the website and Channel 97. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is RV storage. They don't appear to be here. Restaurant and lounge, Marcia.
Good afternoon, everyone. The recent Valentine's event was very successful. Our committee was actually participated in creating the table decorations. We set up tables and acted as hosts for the evening. All the residents really had a very positive comments about the food and the overall experience of the evening. Thank you to Larry and Sheila James for your wonderful music. It was a lovely night. March looks to be a very busy month. So we tried to be pretty proactive in getting all the information out in lifestyles for March. Unfortunately, some of it has changed, naturally. So the NCAA March Madness tournaments will be shown in the Sandwich Bar and Grill starting with the Sweet 16 games on March 28th. They will run through April 8th. Domestic beer and basket specials will be available. Make sure you check Good Day Sun Lakes, the website, your emails, and Channel 97 as we get closer to the start of the Sweet 16 tournament. A fun St. Patrick's Day celebration will take place on Saturday, March 16th in the ballroom. This is a prepaid event, and tickets must be purchased by March 8th at the hostess desk. The cost, like Chris said earlier, is $29.95 plus tax and gratuity. So this flyer is available to view on the website and Good Day Sun Lakes, and I believe there will be some in the lobby as well. Tickets are going fast, so make sure you get them soon, and the doors will open at 5 p.m. Also on that weekend, in the lounge, there'll be some specials. So from the 15th, I think it's the 15th, the whole weekend, 15th to the 17th, in the lounge, there'll be some great specials for St. Patrick's Day weekend. So make sure you come out and enjoy those. The National I can say that good. The National Ravioli Day that was originally scheduled for March 20th has been canceled. Unfortunately, the kitchen will be closed at that time. And then let's all gather to honor our Vietnam veterans on March 29th. There's some domestic beer and basket specials will be available as we get together with our veterans. And if you look at the article written by Carol Elliott in the Lifestyles, it'll give you a little bit more information on that. And then the grand finale of the month will be the Easter brunch on March 31st. This again is a prepaid event. Tickets must be purchased by March 22nd. A flyer will be out soon with all the details. You can also get updates on Good Day Sun Lakes, the website, emails, and Channel 97. The Sandwich Bar and Grill will not serve breakfast on Easter, so the staff can prepare for the brunch. And then at the time that information on the food and beverage March closure for the much-needed floor repairs in the kitchen was submitted to Lifestyle, the closure time was 2 weeks. Hang on, this is important. However, that has changed. All food and beverage services, including the lounge and sandwich, will only be closed for 5 days, starting March 18th through the 22nd. And then we will reopen again on March 23rd at 11:30. So remember to get your Easter brunch tickets. They will go fast. Thank you for extra time.
Thank you very much. Next is Mike with Safety Advisory Committee.
Board, management, residents, good afternoon. My name is Michael Voles. I'm chairman of the Safety Advisory Committee. As we all know, this is election time for the master board here at Sun Lakes. This is an important time for us, and differing opinions are being expressed. As a result, Securitas, our security company, is focusing on adherence to Sun Lakes rules and regulations as it applies to election protocols. Securitas is recommending open communication between residents, candidates, the master board, and security personnel to address concerns, provide updates on security, and streamline the enforcement of community guidelines. Security officers here have reported an increase in alcohol-related incidents at the main clubhouse, particularly as it relates to facility closing times and procedures. Disruptive behavior by some residents who don't want to comply with closure procedures do pose a security and safety issue. It is possible for those who don't comply that they will receive an invitation to visit the safety committee or the master board. We ask that participants comply with closing requests and procedures. There's been a surge in phone calls to security from residents reporting speeding and failure to stop at stop signs on Poma Valley, Pine Valley, Glen Eagles, Riviera, and Country Club avenues. Unfortunately, the reporting parties often are unable to get license numbers when observing these incidents, and in addition, many of the vehicles observed are unregistered since license plates have not been updated with administration or they are non-residents. This trend underscores the need for increased vigilance by the Banning Police Department and community awareness to address these safety concerns effectively. The Safety Advisory Committee will be making some recommendations to the Master Board soon. If you have a dog or dogs, please make sure they are tagged or chipped. Neither ARE Animal Rescue nor the Banning Police Department will be able to assist with lost dogs. Animal Rescue will only come to pick up deceased or injured animals. Dogs that are recovered here in Sun Lakes will be kept in the kennels here only if they are tagged or chipped. Animal Rescue won't house recovered animals until it receives funding on June 30th. So for the next 4 months, they're just going to be out there. So recovered pets without chips or tags will be released up to that date. This is unfortunate, but it's the only option available at this time. Tag or chip your pets if you haven't already done so. Please observe the rules and regulations here at Sun Lakes. Drive safely, keep your garage doors closed, keep your dogs on a leash, and pick up after them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I would like to mention, in reference to the campaign that he was talking about, I wanted to thank the fellow candidates this year. There's very few disturbances or loss of signs, and I want to thank everybody for participating in that positive manner. Next is the consent agenda. We can have First Service read the consent agenda for us.
Thank you, Mr. President. On the consent agenda tonight is the approval of the open minutes for the January 24th open session meeting, a resolution to record liens, member resignation, to accept the member resignation for the Marketing Advisory Committee, Greg Voitko, as well as a resignation from the Recreation Advisory Committee, and that is Janice Walsh. The lien numbers on that resolution, I'll read that before the board considers moving forward. The accounts on this resolution to record a lien are 1290-02, 1333-01, 2185-01, 2387-02, and 2843-02. Mr. President, that completes identifying the items on the consent agenda.
Thank you. Any board member wish to pull any of the consent agenda items? If not, I need a motion to approve.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Next is the board report, financial report for January.
I need my glasses for that. I'm Gary Burkle, Treasurer, Sun Lakes Country Club. This is the report on the January financial statements. For January, we actually had a surplus of $44,672. And if any of you are paying attention to the financial statements on the website, this is actually about $150,000 better than what was reported. So there will be an update to the January financial statements, but in January, we actually had a surplus of $44,672. The golf operations actually came in better than budget for January. It had a $39,000 less than budget, and I got to compliment the golf operations. They're doing a good job, both in the golf shop and in the maintenance of the golf course facility. Food and beverage, on the other hand, had a substantial loss in January, and they were $57,354 over budget. The operating fund had a cash balance at the end of January of $790,000, and the operating fund actually had outstanding bills of $952,000. This is an overview of our revenue that we took in. As you can see at the top there, we took in $994,000 of your dues in January, which is right on budget. It's a pretty easy thing to budget, but I must say that overall we're doing a good job in budgeting, because a lot of departments are coming in close to budget, and there's a couple departments that are coming in better than budget. As you can see there, land maintenance came in $17,962 better than budget, and administration came in better than budget by $62,249. Again, this is a summary. This is like our income statement for the association, and it shows all of the money coming in and all of the expenses. All of these departments are basically either service departments or utilities, as you can see. What's included there is the planning and compliance, the recreation department, swimming pool operation, land maintenance. So your dues that come in every month of the $994,000, plus the other income, which is things like RV storage fees, other miscellaneous income. And then all of that covers the different expenses for the month. At the bottom, because it's summarized, we have the golf operations, and you can see, like I said, that the golf operations came in $39,000 better than budget. And that's the bottom line there of $44,672 was the overall surplus. This shows that, the last 3 months, how our bills and our cash and receivables and our outstanding bills compare. So the blue column is the cash and receivables that's available to pay bills, and the red is the outstanding bills. What is important to recognize here in Sun Lakes is that our cash flow doesn't come in evenly. A lot of our cash comes in January and February. So you can see that in January, we actually ended up with substantially more in cash and receivables than we had in bills by around $318,000. But this is interesting because it shows both January and February tend to be good months from a cash flow standpoint, because a lot of residents, believe it or not, pay their whole year's dues in January. And then obviously we collect the members that purchase the annual golf memberships, a lot of them pay their dues and pay that fee in January. And RV storage, people pay in January for the whole year. So we have a good amount of cash coming in January. The challenge is to be able to make it through December with the amount of cash that comes in January and then slightly, drops off each month. But what's helping with that is the surpluses that we've had last year and in 2022. This is just an overview of what, in addition to your dues that are shown on the previous statement, part of your dues goes into the repair and replacement fund. So in January and every month, we will be putting in $220,000 into the repair and replacement fund. And during January, we had $27,000 of interest income, and then you can see the expenditures out of the repair and replacement fund there. As Mary Jo said, at the end of January, we had $12 million in the repair and replacement fund. Same with the capital improvement fund. We don't spend on a regular basis a lot of money out of the capital improvement fund, so there was just a small amount of expenditures in January. As you know, or we've been talking about, we will be using this fund to pay for the lounge expansion. And at the end of January, we had $1,780,000 in the capital improvement fund. And Mary Jo talked about this, but I like to keep repeating it. There's a distinction between the operating fund, the repair and replacement fund, and the capital fund. The operating fund is used to pay and receive your dues and pay all the monthly operating expenses. The repair and replacement fund is to repair existing assets of the association, and the capital fund is for new construction. I wanted to point out that I actually made somewhat of a mistake in the last report I did, but this is for the golf pro shop and the fees that pay people to play golf, and as you can see, it's been increasing the last 3 years. So, and that's my report for January. Thank you. But before I finish, I want to thank Mary Jo. I believe, we need the FAC. They're very helpful for the board and me particularly on dealing with financial issues, so I want to thank Mary Jo. and the Finance Advisory Committee.
Thank you very much. Need a motion to review and file the report? I need a motion to review and file the report.
Gary,
I make a motion.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I make a motion that we review and file the January financial statements with the provision that the January statements will be corrected for the error that was, so.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you very much. Next, Bingo Advisory Committee member. Recommendation was received from Bingo Advisory Committee to appoint the following member to the committee. Susie Crosby. Need a motion in reference to that?
I move to, I move to approve Susie Cosby for the bingo committee. You can second it, Randy.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Next, a recommendation was received from the Lifestyles Advisory Committee to appoint the following member to the committee. Shirley Anderson. Need a motion in reference to that?
I move that we appoint Shirley Anderson to the Lifestyles Advisory Committee.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Next, there's a facility use request from the Banning Chamber of Commerce. The District 7 delegate, Francisca Hanratty, as well as the ambassador for the Banning Chamber, is the ambassador for the Banning Chamber of Commerce. She's requesting permission to conduct the Chamber's fundraising concert at Sun Lakes in the ballroom. The date on that is May 16th from 6:30 to 8:30. Proceeds from the concert will go to pay for a mural that would be approved by the city as well as the concert performers. Need a motion in reference to that?
I move to approve this for the Banning Chamber.
I will second for sake, or at this point, I would like to have some discussion.
Yes, I will start with that. We have traditionally had programs here or different things here from the different chambers, from the different cities. And all of them, the tradition we set has been at no charge. That's something I think we're going to have to look at in the future.
Well, we're definitely changing that. I mean, the rules and regulations we recently passed indicated that we're now going to be charging for the use of our facilities here. And the reason is that there's a cost involved. I mean, you know, we have our monitors and our staff setting up, taking down. You know, we want to get reimbursed for that. So what we're going to do on the request coming in tonight, we're going to not bill them, but in the future, anyone who wants to use our facility, you know, they have to pay for it. And to me, that's the way it should be.
And I see friends out there, if you do any treats, I know you had talked about putting use of a porta bar and so forth, so some revenue will be coming in, is the way I understand it. And then we will work on a fee schedule if we can get that added to a future agenda.
And that's one of the things that's real important. I think we've kind of put this out there for future with food and beverage, is to use this facility for a few outside programs, specifically targeting using our restaurant. We have a fantastic chef. We've had people in here. We've done State of the City here before with a full-on lunch, and people love coming here. So it's an idea that we want to move forward with, and so that will help mitigate some of the costs, but we're still going to have to look at that because, again, you know, we're a business. So I appreciate you bringing it to us, Fran, because I think it's a good idea, and I appreciate you having some food and beverage. Thank you.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes.
What? Yes.
Any comments from membership in reference to this?
Thank you, Chris.
Name is David Marshall Keeley, 1314 Laguna Seca Raceway in Banning. We've had this, I've mentioned that before. It always gets a laugh, but it's true. I've had this comment before on this topic about the use of our ballroom, and so let me continue and flesh it out just a little bit. As a new member of the Chamber of Commerce, I've attended one meeting. I'm in favor of the Banning Chamber of Commerce. Some people, we heard the word amenity earlier, and yes, we have a lot of great amenities here, but I take a little bit of issue with that when it comes to the ballroom. Let's call it an asset, and it's being underutilized from a financial standpoint. Outside companies and organizations, including charities, should follow a fee schedule for their use of this asset. This would include a flat rate maybe for the ballroom, just a flat rate. Beyond that, additionally, there needs to be cost for technical support and a fee for a technician. Choices they could make using a lectern, microphones, other AV media equipment, such as screens, projection equipment, video recording, that type of thing. Needs to be put in place, this fee schedule, and it then would be used when the facility is being requested and it's being scheduled. Ask yourself where else in the Greater Pass area there's an asset like this ballroom. What would it cost if it was available? Let me put my hat on as chairman of the Sun Lakes Country Club Charitable Trust. We're prepared to make payments following a schedule like this. It's the right thing to do. It's the right time. I've had conversations like this before here, and I've talked to members of the Master Board about this topic. Tonight there are several requests for use of the facility, and I think it's past time for us to establish this schedule, and I know the board has worked on that, and they're interested. For your information, don't be frightened, but I contacted the local AV company in Beaumont that we've used. Actually, they put up the 9 by 16 foot screen that we use here for the event in April to watch the Masters Golf Tournament. So here's the fees they gave me today. One RF wireless microphone, $100. One hardwired mic, $15. Mixing console use, $250. Video projector, $250. Technician, $250 to $750 for a full day. What would our technician be? I don't know, but there needs to be a fee. And other requests that somebody wants to use in this room is available by bid, and the AV company would love to help because they work closely with us. Actually, a few years ago when a microphone or some equipment was stolen, they're the company that we purchased it from, so we know them really well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a first and a second. Let's go ahead and vote on that matter. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Next is another facility usage request, Carol's Kitchen. We received a request from Carol's Kitchen to use the ballroom for a fundraising event on Friday, October 11th from 5 to 9. This would be a dinner and a show event. They're expecting about 200 guests. They would like access to the ballroom for the entire day of the event. And they ask if there are any rental fees that could be waived to be determined. The ballroom is currently available for this event. I think by that particular date and time, we may have some fee schedules established. I need a motion in reference.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Carol's Kitchen request for use of the ballroom.
I'll second it for conversation and discussion, and I'll start that. This goes back to what David was just talking about. I don't think charities should be exempt. We may have different fees, but the Charitable Trust has paid in the last couple of years for some fees towards taking care of this because they realize what they've got here. And we're not charging what you'd charge if you went out to there's a place downtown Banning that you can use for banquet room, and their charge is a whole lot higher. Their food and beverage is something that much less than that we can offer. So I still think that a charity needs, perhaps that's where we go with the flat rate. They are bringing in a dinner, but they're also asking for all day because they have to set up. Well, that gets rid of anybody who wants to meet in the morning in here as well. So back to the conversation we just had, we will be setting up some fees, and we will be taking all of this in mind as we move forward. But I think the days are done when we're just giving our space away. We're going to have to start charging for it.
Any comments from membership before we vote?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Don Day. On the same topic, with our lounge expansion being considered and so forth, one of the things that is being explored is the fact that there's an anticipated savings by expanding the lounge. We utilize this lounge, this ballroom per se, on Friday and Saturday nights extensively and very successfully, very well attended. Those people used to be out in the lounge, but now they're in here in the ballroom in the wintertime. If we only move the people from the ballroom to an expanded lounge, we're not increasing revenue, we're not increasing profitability. But if we can move people out of this ballroom to an expanded lounge and we find a profitable way of utilizing this facility, that would be a win-win and make a lounge expansion make sense. So along the same topic, if Carol's Kitchen is coming in, I didn't understand, Beverly, are they bringing their own food or are we supplying food?
No, they're doing all food and beverage here. We don't let people bring in their own food in the ballroom.
So we are supplying it
Absolutely.
at a fee?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Full banquet.
Full menu at the full fee,
Okay.
plus.
One of the major problems I have with many of the things in food and beverage is our lack of ability of knowing what things cost and what the profitability is of menu items, banquets, special events. This is an opportunity to wheel that in. There should be, in my opinion, an estimate done by the Food and Beverage Department of what the cost of food, the cost of labor is for this event, and subsequently what the profitability would be for this event. If we can move people out of the ballroom into an expanded lounge and find activities like this, you know, maybe the highway patrol could come in and do a dinner and we could make money off of it. That's the only way that you're really going to get any revenue gain and sales gain and utilization of the facility. So I would propose, and I think this is a great opportunity for you to do it, find out, do an estimate of what this cost would be for this event, all in, fully burdened, and an estimate of liquor that might be sold. Again, it's only an estimate. But then when you're done, what was the profitability of this event when it was done? Thank you.
Any other comments from membership in reference to Carol's Kitchen? Go ahead and vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Next is a variance request regarding the Monster Scramble attire. The board authorized a charitable trust to use the facilities this year. The theme for the Charity Trust Weekend Monster Scramble is Country Western. Most players dress in coordination with the theme. They want us to allow blue denim on the day of this particular event because it's Country Western. I need a motion in reference to that.
I move to approve blue denim on the executive course for this event. Part of this that's not in here as well is there will not be boots allowed on the golf course, but there will be blue denim.
I'll second that.
Any comments from the board or from membership? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Passes 5-0. And next is a request to display banners. Management received a request from the Follies. They've asked to display their banners for their show on the common area. They would like to have 6 3x6 banners displayed at each of the entrance gates. They will supply the stakes and the banners. We would like permission to display them for 3 weeks prior to the show while they're doing the ticket sales. I need a motion in reference to that.
I move we approve.
I'll second that.
Any comments from membership or the board? I need a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. The next is the last and the most fun, and that's the homeowner's comment. So remember, when you do your homeowner's comment, try to keep them within the. We're going to try and stick to the 3-minute time limit and be as positive and respectful as you can. First one is Don Day.
And while Mr. Day walks up here, I just want to remind you, Jason is sitting over here with your cue cards. A lot of you never look at Jason. And Jason waves a lot, but this time Jason's going to hold that buzzer up to the microphone so that you can hear it. Please do take time to look at Jason so that you, and I thank you, Mary Jo, for stopping when the buzzer went off, but we don't want to have to do that again. So please utilize Jason with his little cue cards. Thank you.
There's 30 minutes of your time.
Sorry, Don, you're done.
No, you're good.
Do I have credit from the last one? Okay. I'd like to talk a little bit about the lounge expansion that's pending. You know, I've been a licensed general contractor specializing in design, build, and remodeling since 2004. With the lounge expansion coming up, I thought it'd be appropriate to look at the last two construction projects that were executed here to see if we have the procedures and policies in place to do an $800,000 to $1 million lounge expansion successfully. I requested information through David Sterling on costs, invoices per se, as well as the contracts for those two events. Neither the Sandwedge roof nor the Sandwedge remodel actually had a contract. What was supplied to me was, on the lounge expansion, was 4 invoices and proposals for work in the lounge expansion totaling around $75,000, which was the estimated cost of the project. I also received and went through the entire management's report for capital and reserve spending through August 31st, and I pulled out all the items from management's report that were referenced to be charged to the Sandwedge remodel. When I totaled those all up, it was not the $75,800 reported at the October board meeting. It totaled in at $138,000. What was missing from the report that was provided me from management was 14 additional, I guess you would call them, proposals and purchase orders and invoice associated with that. Things like $6,000 for bar stools, $6,000 for cutting concrete and running plumbing, TVs, design work from being design. But the bottom line is that project was actually $62,000 over what was reported budget. I think it's important, the lounge expansion, we do need to make flexibility in our clubhouse and address the 5 different venues we have, that being the Sandwedge, the restaurant, the lounge, the ballroom, and in the summertime, our veranda. There is no written plan to say, this is what we should do in those different areas. We change our mind every time. We did this big lounge Sandwedge remodel, and we're only open from 11 o'clock to 3. I don't know we got the biggest bang for the buck. If we go forward with a lounge expansion of over $500,000 by issuing proposals and purchase orders with no consistent management of the entire project, it has a high likelihood of being the same situation we had with the many times we've remodeled the Sandwedge. I think it's important. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Michelle Walter.
Good afternoon, Master Board, FSR, and residents. Michelle Walter for Community Awareness Program Coordinator. We have our Community Awareness Program this coming Tuesday, March 5th, from 1 to 3 in the ballroom. We have 2 programs that are going to take place. The first one is the Sun Lakes Boulevard Extension presented by Nate Smith, Deputy Director of Public Works, City Engineer, and Art Vela, Director of Public Works, City Engineer. They will be making a presentation on the Sun Lakes Boulevard Extension. After making their presentation, they will then take questions. However, I want to make this very clear. They will only be taking questions regarding the Boulevard Extension. They will not take questions regarding Banning Point, Sunset Crossroads, or any other questions. If you want those questions answered, you will need to go to the City Council meetings. You do not have 2 minutes, as someone on Facebook claimed. You may stand, ask your question, and then sit down. I am asking that you be polite and respectful when asking your questions. Our second program is from the OPA, Organization Process Analysis, headed by Bob Hicks and his task force. They will be explaining exactly what OPA is and how it benefits our community. You will be able to ask them questions as well. Again, I am asking that you be polite and respectful when asking your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Chantel. She's gone? Okay. Raylene? On deck is David Keeley.
Good afternoon, Master Board, FSR, and my fellow residents. My name is Raylene Kretschmann, and I live on Bay Hill in District 7. I'm going to start out with a not-so-subtle reminder. Voting is not only our right, it is our power. This election is absolutely critical for Sun Lakes. What we need are candidates who are grounded in reality, who value teamwork, and who are adept at finding solutions to our community's challenges, all while putting our needs ahead of personal interests. We can't afford to settle for mere lip service. We need leaders who will roll up their sleeves and work towards inclusive decisions and solutions. It's not enough to just point out problems. We need candidates who have a proven track record of taking action to address these issues head on. As we consider our choices, let's remember that the decisions made in this election will profoundly shape the course of our community. The individuals we elect to our governing board will wield significant influence over both immediate action and directions that we are taking and the decisions that will shape our future. With 5 candidates vying for our votes, it is important to focus on those who can come together as a unified master board, prioritizing the collective good of Sun Lakes. So as you weigh your options, take the time to research each candidate thoroughly. Don't be swayed by confusing rhetoric or false promises. Your vote matters now more than ever. Don't leave the fate of your community in the hands of others, such as your district delegate. Make your voice heard at the polls, because this election is far too critical to remain on the sidelines. Thank you, and please vote.
Thank you. Next is David Keeley.
David Keeley, and because of the conversation of the board when I spoke earlier, I left something out because I wanted to get in the fees that are out there. So let me mention something. There were several requests tonight for use of the ballroom. I'm not opposed to any of the organizations. The Sun Lakes Country Club Charitable Trust actually has supported for the past, this is my 14th year as chair, and well underway for activities to raise money this year. We typically support 26 charities. We passed the $2 million point last year in money that we've supported the charities with 200 volunteers usually. So I think it's really important for us to realize that we're doing our best to head toward the $3 million mark. And we do care about and support charities in the greater San Gregorio Pass area. And I didn't mention, I strongly suggest that we table this motion that was handled earlier because you're coming along really well. Thank you, board.
Thank you. Jim Caldwell. Ken Johnson, Birdie Drive. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that, too. Thank you, Master Board. Thank you for all you do for our community. I'm here today representing myself to communicate to this board my concern that the Sun Lakes RV lot has not had a working security system other than a fence and an occasional roving patrol for well over a year. I wish to express the fact that the lot contains approximately $11 million in homeowner property. Let me repeat, $11 million with no real theft deterrent. We have had our share of break-ins, and it needs to either slow down or stop. I am informed by the Sun Lakes RV Committee, along with Mark Shaden, pardon me, Mark, Sun Lakes Director of Operations, that they have submitted to this board a valid proposal for a new security system for the lot. It appears to me that there has been no action on this proposal toward its approval and installation. Why? So here we go, another month, another year with nothing, which is unacceptable. You folks need to be able to get something done on this matter. We need it. For the board and all those who don't want their dues to increase to pay for something for those rich folks with RVs, I wish to inform you and the board that the RV lot more than pays its way. In fact, again this year, we gave the Sun Lakes General Fund approximately $148,000 in rental fees, and this happens every year. I am not asking any Sun Lakes homeowner to pay for any of my security. I repeat, the lot contains approximately approximately $11 million in homeowners' assets, and we pay Sun Lakes approximately $148,000 in rent. More than enough for a security system with a lot of change left over. So let's get something done. For all you folks that don't know that we have an RV lot or where it is, it's at the east end of Sun Lakes Boulevard. On the north side, it's surrounded by golf course on two sides, Sun Lakes Boulevard on one side, and a field that goes all the way to Sunset on the east side. Thank you all.
Thank you very much for bringing that to our attention. We will definitely look into that. I haven't received anything in reference to that.
Yeah, we didn't.
No, I'm just telling him it hasn't come. Yes, thank you.
Good afternoon, Master Board, FSR, residents, Ken Johnson, Birdie Drive. I'd like to compliment the board on the recent passage of the Repair and Replacement Initiative. I would like to see, though, some type of report of the progress of dollars coming in, if there's any impact. I think the community be looking for that, and hopefully you can do that on a quarterly basis.
Yes.
I'd like to say I am very pleased that you're going to the governance policy model. I've worked under one, and it was great presentation today, and the one that's upcoming I think will even be more beneficial for the residents and for everybody to understand what's going on. I would like to know, though, how accountability is going to be incorporated into the model to make sure that we have a blend of accountability of the management company and the board's overall management of the model. So that's one additional item. I really appreciated today the update with regard to our investment committee and what's going on, the ability to provide Q and answers to respond back to those who are need that type of inquiry. And I hope, as a former banker that watches and does a laddered approach to my investments, that we can understand how we are doing it for our community. Today's opportunity to see a lack of Zoom, voice, and problems brings into my initiative that I've been constant on, the technology plan, and if I'd like to donate $5 to you guys to help, I will do so, and I think that we really need to have that improvement. So, again, really look at it, board. The lounge and expansion project, I think, is critical. I don't understand why we don't have a pro forma. I don't know why the FAC is not helping working on one. We should know how many new seats, the revenue. We need to put that together. We ought to be able to see what kind of revenue and explain to the community what we're doing. And a project plan would be definitely approved. The last Lifestyles indicated we'd start construction potentially in January, and I don't think it's January construction time. We're still waiting for the city, so a realistic approach to the project and monitoring it is critical. Well, it's good old election times again, and I think all residents should take the appropriate time to evaluate the candidates that are running for the master board and make sure that you make an informed elective decision. All I can remember is there is no I in team or in teamwork, so make sure you do your right job and you vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Marcia Midget.
Hello again, Master Board, FSR, and my fellow Sun Lakers. My name is Marcia Midget. Over the past months, the Treasurer's report made at the open session is more negative than positive. The same issues about our operating funds have been brought up by this treasurer and a past treasurer about how we can't pay our bills. If that was the case, our HOA would be bankrupt by now. How many of you look at the financial statement recap each month, or the line-by-line expenses for each department? We are a financially sound HOA. However, we are being led to believe that we are in dire straits. That simply is not true. Did you know as of January 31st, and of course this has all been covered today, I think somebody was in my brain taking what I was saying, that we have $12,112,776 of assets in our reserve and replacement fund. Each month, another $220,000 is added to that from funds from your HOA dues. This allows the HOA to make needed repairs or replace items that have outlived their usefulness to maintain our beautiful complex and protect our property values. The Capital Improvement Fund has $1,756,830 of assets. Yes, we are planning to spend about $700,000 of that for the lounge expansion, leaving about $1 million for future new projects for the community. The monthly financials are posted on the website. Take the time to go through them, and you will be pleased to see that we are indeed a financially sound HOA, which an independent outside auditor has reported each year when our finances are reviewed. As a former board member, I totally respect and understand what all board members contribute to our Sun Lakes community, the time they devote, and the difficult decisions that they make to do what is best for Sun Lakes. I, for one, do not appreciate the negative message being sent with gloom and doom, with a gloom and doom report given each month by the treasurer. Thank you.
Any other member comments? Last one is Anita Lawrence.
Good afternoon, Master Board, First Service Residential, and fellow residents. I am Anita Lawrence, and I'd like to talk briefly about what a great community Sun Lakes is. I think we get complacent sometimes and forget what a paradise we live in. When my husband and I were looking for a place to retire, one of our biggest considerations were the amenities. We looked at a number of communities, and nothing compared to Sun Lakes. And even today, I don't think that you will find a community that offers as much as Sun Lakes does when it comes to value for your dollar. I am sure many of our 5,000 plus residents were also drawn to Sun Lakes because of the outstanding amenities, which leads to higher resident satisfaction, occupancy, and your property values. We pay $365 a month in HOA fees, which includes our Spectrum TV, which accounts for $61 of that $365 monthly charge. In comparison, HOA fees at Four Seasons are $283 a month, does not include cable TV, they have less amenities, and some residents at Four Seasons pay a Melrose. I'd say, in comparison, we have an incredible value here. I have concerns about those who want to bring in a new management company because someone else may do the job for less. Cheaper is not better, and you get what you pay for. We have been here long enough to see several management companies come and go, and at the insistence of the residents. We have dedicated First Service employees with many years of experience. For example, Tammy Morgan has been here for over 30 years and possesses a wealth of Sun Lakes knowledge. Bringing in a new company will not ensure that these employees will be able to transition to a new company and stay to provide the continuity of service that we enjoy with them working directly on site. It is my belief that most residents are very happy with life in Sun Lakes, and we have the Master Board to thank for the countless hours they devote each month to ensure Sun Lakes continues to be a wonderful place to live. We've all heard the adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now for board comments. Gary?
Hello, everybody. First off, I want to thank everybody who spoke. This was one of the better comment sections that I've heard in a long time. Now, there were a lot of different opinions. Some of them were for, some of them weren't, but they were all very respectful, and I want to thank you for that. Then I'm going to shift over and talk about Charity Week. Charity Week is now Charity Weekends, and our first weekend is coming up in April. It's Sunday weekend at Augusta. It starts on April 12th through the 14th. We have 3 events. We have the first one, which is the Friday Night Gala on the 12th, the Monster Scramble on the 13th, and the actual Sunday at Augusta in the ballroom here on the 14th. Tickets go on sale for that starting March 20th. So you can buy those tickets out front of the main clubhouse here. They'll be selling tickets out there on Wednesdays and Fridays and a couple of Saturdays. Wednesday and Friday will be from 3 to 6 p.m. starting on March 20th. The Saturdays are going to be from 10 to 1. So this is an opportunity for you to get your tickets. One of the things we're doing at the, well, I'm not actually running it, it's Lee's show this year, but one of the things they're doing is the reverse raffle for an $11,000 built from the ground hot red golf cart. If you want to get in on that, who knows what a reverse raffle is? For those of you who don't know, you don't want your number called. The minute your number is called, it's like bye-bye golf cart. It goes down to the last number called. It's a lot of fun. The tickets are $150 each, and that includes door price for 2 and appetizers for 2. Those will sell out quickly, and those will be available as well. If you want any more information, watch Facebook. There's going to be a lot of information there. You can call Lee Stone. She'll be able to tell you that. You can talk to David Keeley. But it's exciting. Sun Lakes this year is going to get a year-long Charity Weekends event, so it'll keep everybody thrilled and happy during the whole time. So hope to see all of you there. Thank you.
Lori?
Yes, I'd like to start off by congratulating Chef Chris and his staff for a very successful brunch last Sunday. I heard it was a job very well done.
It was.
Yeah. And also, it is campaign season, and I would just like to encourage everybody to be kind, friendly, and polite as you're campaigning. We're all volunteers, and we're all in this together, and we're all doing the best that we can for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Randy?
Yeah, I just want to cover one particular area. This is my second year on the board. When I first started, one of the first things I realized, coming from a business management and leadership background, was the difference between management and governance. And through the board at the time, even before the OPA project started, which I totally believe in that whole governance aspect, we decided to put in the message to management button on the website. The reason for that is because the management company is who handles all of our paperwork. The management company is who deals with requests from citizens. We will help you, of course we will. But all of us being combined on an email broadcast to many members of the community is counterproductive. That's my opinion of that. So I think we should use the message to management button if you have a request of administration, or if you want a letter, even if you want to send a letter in to management so that the board will address it. We addressed 4 letters today that were directed to management. So I think the governance of allowing the management company to do their job is very important, and it starts right at this level. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, don't forget, the forum is next week, 4 o'clock here in the main ballroom. And the ballots will be mailed out to everybody 2 days later on the 8th. Everything will be tabulated on April the 10th. So it's very important that you remember those dates and don't forget to vote. There's 3 incumbents running and 2 challengers. This is a very, very important election. So for the future of our community and the preferences. So do your research. Don't forget to vote. I want to thank all of our board members and all the volunteers who have helped us in the past 2 years, because we have had the opportunity to get a lot upgrades and a lot of things accomplished, but we couldn't do it without the team here and everybody's support in the community. So I want to thank you that we work together as a team and keep this the hidden gem that it really is. So thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.